Well, greetings, Mac enjoyers, and today is day number 17 of Man vs. PowerPC Macs, and it's time to test some iPods to see which one the Power Mac G5 will sync best. First up is the iPod Shuffle. Yeah, at least a variant of it. And this works differently from the other iPods because it has that cable. And the only way you can charge it is in the computer. So yeah, get this in there. There. Get it in the computer. Okay. Got the iPod Shuffle in there. Now we're going to open up iTunes. And I also got a library of music to put it on. I'm only going to put on Strike Before Dawn because that song is not copyrighted. And it's just there for test purposes. Ah yes, a good old iTunes interface. Yeah. I remember this, man. This is the classic iTunes interface. Oh, and I also have something to tell you guys. I've never used Spotify at all. Not once in my life have I ever used Spotify, and that's because I just don't believe in the software. I don't believe in Spotify, and I have not considered using Spotify at all. And I think it's a subscription service. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't want to pay a subscription fee just to listen to some music. I'm just gonna stick with iTunes. Yeah, in my opinion, iTunes, aka Apple Music, is much better. Because you can actually pay for a song you want instead of having to pay a subscription service. So yeah, iTunes is still amazing. It's still the go-to music service for me, and I'm probably the only person on earth who still uses iPods aside from DankPods. He still uses iPods. Let me know in the comments if you still use iTunes and iPods. Okay, so I believe you have to have the shuffle turned on. Ah, it's the green. Yeah, the green is usually an indicator that it's turned on because, well, Apple doesn't have an LED to indicate it's turned on, and and the iPod Shuffle doesn't have a screen if you haven't known already. Okay. The Shuffle doesn't appear on the Power Mac G5. I gotta plug it in and plug it back out again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it charged on the PowerBook G4 for now. Until I could basically put some music on there. Because I don't think it's been charged in a while. Well, the PowerBook recognizes it, so go over to Utilities, Disk Utility, yeah, Erase, okay, and call it Blue Shuffle. Yeah, it's partitioning. Yeah, it turns out that something went wrong with trying to erase the whole iPod shuffle. Alrighty, let's try this again. Yeah, I restored it on the MacBook Pro, by the way. Yeah, it still has this problem. It requires iTunes version 10. So the PowerBook G4 can't use this iPod Shuffle. Yeah, this is version 9. What's the version on the Power Mac G5? Let's find out. Alrighty, let's see which version of iTunes the Power Mac G5 runs. Yep, iTunes 10. iTunes 10, which is the same exact version we need to have the shuffle. And we're gonna call it Blue Shuffle. There we go. The iPod software update server could not be contacted. Well, that's no worry, because it's still up to date. Alrighty, now let's put in the music. Put in the flash drive and put in the one song that needs to be tested. But I have to eject the iPod Shuffle first, because it only has one USB port on the front. I could use the back ports, but that would take more effort. Alright, here we go. Still considering on getting an SSD for this thing. Okay, image capture. I'm gonna put in Strike Before Dawn for now. Alrighty, here we go. iPod folder. Let's see. Where's Strike Before Dawn? Okay. There it is. Strike Before Dawn. This is pretty much the Racer Cinema Productions equivalent of Scarlet Fire. Okay, put it into the folder. And there we go. Easy as that. I'll import the other songs later. This is just a test to see if the shuffle works on the G5. It's amazing that it's a copyright date on it, but I think it is made in 2012. It's amazing that this iPod Shuffle made in 2012 works with a computer made in 2004. And on an older architecture nonetheless. Here we go. Drag it to the shuffle. Yeah. Think with the shuffle, you have to sync. Alrighty. One song. Yeah, it's one song on there. See if it's Strike Before Dawn. eject the shuffle. And we're ready. This is really cool. Here we go. I got the shuffle hooked up to my gaming headset, which is for the Switch 2, but I do use them as headphones all the time. And it's time to test it out. Alrighty. Let's see. It says battery low. Okay. Alright. Got some sound out of there. There we go. Shuffle works. Yep, test successful. Except for, well, the PowerBook G4, which, yeah, it needs iTunes version 10 for it to work, so it doesn't work on the G4. Not the iBook G4, the PowerBook G4, sorry about that. It doesn't work on the PowerBook G4, but it does work on the G5, the Power Mac G5, and that's good enough for me. Now it's time to test out the other models of iPod, which you can actually just drag and drop. So let's go. Yeah, I was going to put the songs on the iPad by using the Power Mac G5, but the Power Mac G5 decided to be temperamental again, and the hard drive decided to go to sleep. Yep, so I'm gonna have to get an SSD for it. So it's PowerBook time. I'm glad that this computer still works. PowerBooks are always reliable. Here we go. Yeah, I brought out 2 iPads to test out. Oops. I'm trying to see where the... Yeah, it's there. Yeah. This one being an iPod mini. Yep, and it's peach ginger ale time. Okay. It's time to go to iTunes and restore the pink iPod. Yeah, it's the iPod mini. Yeah, it's crazy that the mini is called D. Oh man, restore. Yeah. iTunes cannot contact the iPod software update server because you are not connected to the internet. Shoot. Well, it's time to go over to the MacBook. Here we go. It's time to test out the iPods. And the G5 has earned a nickname because it went out there like a warrior. As well. It was just running days upon days upon days. I gave it the nickname Adora. Yep. It's named after the main freaking character of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. She is the princess that, well, she is the princess that becomes She-Ra. Yeah. The fastest and most powerful of all the PowerPC Macs, aka the PowerPC princesses, as I'm going to name them, is nicknamed, well, it's named after the leader of all the princesses, She-Ra. Isn't that ironic? But anyways, let's test out the iPods. It does warn me about USB 1.1, but it doesn't matter. At least with this one. I could actually get the music in while having the iPod plugged in, unlike the G5, aka Adora. Yeah, it's going to have an SSD. And probably some RAM upgrades. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put Strike Before Dawn in it. That's the one song that I want to test out because it's copyright free. Here we go. Strike Before Dawn. Even though it says USB 1.1, I think this computer is USB 2. I'll have to check. Okay. Strike Before Dawn. Is this it? There it is. It's the Scarlet Fire of Racer Cinema Productions. Let's drag it on there. Copying one of one. Alright, here we go. I'm going to look it up. Let's copy it to the iPad. Sync it up. Alright. Yeah, the G5 definitely earned that nickname, by the way. It was a warrior. But it's going to be on the back burner until I get an SSD for it. Yeah, it's beach ballin'. Wait a minute. Why is it freezing up? It's not supposed to freeze up. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, it's copying Strike Before Dawn. It's already syncing the iPod itself. Alrighty. Let's test out the other iPod. See if it's good. Okay, so gotta hot swap the other iPod. Gonna be like Max Verstappen's pit crew or Alex Palou's pit crew if you watch IndyCar. And it's connected. Both of my iPods are going to be called Scott Lance's iPod. Although I'm going to still name the pink iPod D for convenience sake. Okay, it's syncing iPod. And somehow, this iPod, which I think is released in 2008, still works on the PowerBook G4 12-inch, which this computer was released in 2003. It's older than the iPod itself, but anyways. Let's see how Strike Before Dawn will run on both iPads. Got the earphones ready? And here we go. Let's select music. Yeah, this is a more simplistic screen, but it's still a screen. Yeah, you don't need a super high-end screen just to listen to music. You just need a functional screen, and that's it. There it is, Strike Before Dawn. Here we go. Yeah, it's a good thing you can adjust the volume by using the click wheel. That's a nice touch. I love the click wheel, man. Ooh, yeah. That's one thing you'll never get with Spotify. The click wheel. So satisfying to use, man. Alrighty, here we go. My favorite song to test with any device. It's pretty much like Scarlet Fire for Racer Cinema Productions. Except, well, it's not Scarlet Fire, it's Strike Before Dawn. See how well it will run on the other iPod, the iPod Classic. Here we go. Gonna plug in the iPod Classic. Alright, it's a hot swap. And this one has the connector on the top. And yep, the battery still works for it. Here we go. Go to Music. Go to Songs. And there it is, Strike Before Dawn. The Scarlet Fire of Racer Cinema Productions. Here we go. If you can see it, it does have the song itself. It's a much better screen than the Mini, even though it's not that mini. Ooh, look at there. So satisfying to use. Man. Yeah, with Spotify, you don't get a device that has a click wheel. Awesome. Truly awesome. It's probably my favorite iPod to use. But the question is, will this computer recognize the iPod touches? Well, gonna find out tomorrow. And I love the click wheel. Click wheel is satisfying, man. Yeah, just look there. Satisfying to use. That's why I like iTunes more than Spotify, because Spotify, you don't get this. And this thing can also play video. Well, let's put a video on it, shall we? I managed to get the Soliad Lansdale 2000 free commercial on the iPod, even though I had to convert it for it to be used on the iPod. That means converting it to the iPod specific video format, but I wasn't able to get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem on the iPod because of it being in the weird Apple TV format that you can't do anything about. So that means you have to get it on DVD for you to convert it. Yeah, you have to rip your DVDs and put it on the iPod. Anyways, let's test out the video functionality of the iPod Classic. Okay, here we go. Go to Videos. movies. And there's the Soliad Lansdale 2003 commercial that I've yet to upload in iPod form.
This vehicle has a sleek exterior and is feature-rich. Its interior is just as impressive as something. This vehicle has a sleek exterior and is feature-rich. Its interior is just as impressive as something. Finest leather ever made where no animals are harmed. Its wheels are meticulously crafted with some of the finest alloys to ever exist, and its engine is as powerful as any vehicle can get. And this vehicle is...
I like watching movies on the iPod. Just wish that you could get Apple TV formatted files on the iPod itself.
Still America's finest minivan. Pick one up while it's still available. Setting the new standard for American luxury.
And that's that. Tune in tomorrow where I'll test the newer iPod models. Yeah, if the iPod Touches won't work with the PowerBook G4, well, I'll have to bring in another model of PowerPC Mac for it to work, or for them to work. Because the G5 is currently out of order. So yeah, you know the drill by now. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell just in case I haven't already done so. Catch you guys next time, and peace out.